It's going well.
I can stick that on you.
Yeah.
We'll be quite good at this, I think.
Yeah, I think we will.
Oh no, look, I'm going to end up with boobs as well.
There, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I was nailing these questions upstairs. Can't think of anything now.
Yeah, go on, ask
Dawn.
us something really hard.
So if I stutter, can you cut it and then do it again?
Yeah.
Right. Right. Really
How's mum's
tricky.
gonna look? Does it look bad?
Right.
It looks fine, stop being ridiculous.
Your family photo.
I'm round the top.
Do we look at the camera or do we look at you?
Look at me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good to know. I'm glad I
Looks
asked.
better than camera.
Friends?
Relax, it's alright.
Yeah.
Come on, bye.
Is it stuck together?
You're fine, stop being so
Him.
vain.
Why are we so bad at
The
this?
light finds me.
You're so vain.
How's my foundation?
So my name's David Pendlebury and I play the Senator.
I'm Alison Wright and I play the nurse.
I'm Phillip Murch and I play the young thing.
I'm Amy and I play the actress.
And I'm Regan and I play the college boy.
My name is Jack Rowell and I play the soldier. The soldier boy. He's an interesting fellow. If you've seen the show, he's every stereotype rolled into one, pretty much.
Well, first off, it's not all about sex. Even though probably people come thinking they're going to see lots of sex.
Yeah, it's not
It's done very stylishly. It's an overview of relationships between two different characters over a series of 10 scenes, all set in different decades within the last century.
It's about love and lust and what that means to you, and ultimately all we desire is the need to be loved.
Stolen both my answers.
Oh,
So
I think it's a really interesting, thought-provoking, more like investigation of the human condition than a normal musical. It's not like your average night to see a musical.
I find it very symbolic as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of symbolism that runs through.
And it kind of like I suppose on the surface of things it's about sex, but it really explores like the nature of what it is to be human and the reasons that people seek out, you know, love,
Attention.
lust and everything in between really. So yeah.
The show is bonkers, but it's great. It culminates so many different... Lost my train of thought.
I never knew it before auditioning. I never knew much of Michael's work before auditioning, and then I auditioned, got to the second round of auditions, the second recall, and I started looking up more, and I was like, right, I'm in for the soldier, so I looking up him, and then I got the role, and then I properly like dived into it, found everything, and it's a different piece of theatre, isn't it? It's like very, very not niche, but like he's just got his own style to it, I believe.
I don't know.
different.
There's so many different relationships through the past century, and yeah.
But there's not just one not just one type of relationship as well,
every
possibly.
single scene is completely different.
But I love it, to be fair. The music, I've never done a show as musically complicated as this. It is hard, but it's so smart, I think. Like, do you know, it's like something so hard, but you appreciate everything he's doing with it. It's like, if we can just get that right and like in good memory, like good honor of him and his amazing writing. But it's just so hard to do the show. But I love it, to be fair. I absolutely love the show.
So it's based on Arthur Schnitzler's play La Ronde, which was written in 1897, and so Michael's written the book and the music and the lyrics, and it starts off with the first couple, which is the whore and the soldier, and then there are 10 scenes altogether, and each character moves from their scene into the next scene. So the first scene is the whore and the soldier, the second scene is the soldier and the nurse, and so on, until you get to the 10th scene, which is the senator, and then the whore comes back at the end. So it's sort of a cycle.
Yeah, the show runs in a cyclical nature, and I think that it's good to, it shows the... I'm terrible. I shouldn't be here.
You can do
I shouldn't be
it.
here.
So it's like it's set over different time periods. Is it over 100 years?
Yeah, it's over the century.
Yeah, it's over 100 years, but it doesn't go in chronological chronological order. Put my teeth in. It jumps, like, which is really odd. I think that's what the hardest thing to follow is, because if it went in chronological order, you could form a linear story in an arc, but because it doesn't, I think that's where the difficulty lies.
But what the audience does get, instead of it being in chronological order, is one character to hang on to that stays on for the next scene. So you'll see the next person come on, and maybe towards the beginning they'll think it's the same character, but then with the costume and stuff, you realise it's a totally different time, totally different relationship. But some of the themes from the scene before are carried on, like with Pete's character, that is a little bit carried on.
And like in Alice's song with the nurse, she mentions the soldier in her song With Me, which is the scene before, and it's like totally different times. I mean, I think that scene's before. It's not
very literal.
It's really clever because your scene at the end is the only scene that doesn't have the sexual encounter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've got the whore and
we have real love, supposedly, but it's between
all
the
our
whore
other
and
scenes are
senator.
just, they're wanting that one thing, that sexual pleasure, whereas your scene is actually about the desire
From the
to be
most
loved.
unexpected relationship as well, with the whore. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Ellen's like, she captures that, doesn't she? She's like, she hits that right on the head.
Yeah.
Like she gets that elegant. She comes across elegant, but she's just not. Like, do you know what I mean? The character is not like, but she comes across that elegant, but she's still rough. I don't know how. She's just amazing.
Yeah.
She captures that, I think.
But your part was changed, wasn't it? Your part's been changed. So the young thing doesn't actually exist in the original version in the play. The little miss was the original character, and Michael decides to change the sexuality to introduce the homosexual element.
But yeah, he's a good character, but he can be seen as what's wrong, I think, with them eras of the sexual encounters and stuff. And he's just a walking stereotype. He really is. Obviously, in the first scene, he plays the soldier who doesn't want to get with the whore, but that's a specific reason he came down there. But he's trying to act like he doesn't, and then he gets what he wants and treats her like that. And then obviously in the second scene, where I play the young buck from 1944, and he's trying to chase this Virginian nurse, and he's basically selling her a dream, selling her everything she wants to hear, just to get what he wants. And then once he gets what he wants, he smashes the dream, shatters it, and then he's off doing his own thing onto the next conquest. Like so, and he uses the war. He's a bit torn up by the war, as if in the show there's moments where he's having a bit of a PTSD about it, and he's actually very, very scared of going off, I think. But doesn't hide the fact that he's a bit of a not a nice gentleman.
Michael John, like he's
I seen the Wild Party at the other palace.
Party too.
I went expecting the Andrew Lipper version, but then saw the Koussa's version, and it was just amazing. Like, it was so weird. Clearly, do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a running theme here. Like, his stuff is not stereotypical musical theatre, but it was amazing. Like, it was because it was John Owen Jones that played the lead, and it was
amazing.
It was the most beautiful piece.
Yeah.
And I love that space as well. I think that helped.
I saw the Wild Party at the other palace, and I just love his style. But the reason I love this show is because every single song in the show is just completely different. It's not, ballad after ballad after ballad or up tempo, and it's all different styles. Because it goes through all the different decades, it needs to be different, and I just think it keeps it interesting.
Yep.
I saw his Wild Party, not obviously the Lipper one. I've seen the Lipper one, but I saw his Wild Party. That was the first. I saw it by RAM, so the Royal Academy of Music. When they did it, I went to see that one, and that show's just as hard. But I know he's got another show, Queen of the Mist, in London, which I want to go see. If it's not closing anytime soon, I don't think. But I think I'm going to get a few of the others, and we're going to go see that, just to see what his other work's like as well, because obviously we've seen it advertised in London stuff, and just to dive more into his work, because the only knowledge I have of it is Wild Party and Hello Again, and I've heard Queen of the Mist, and now I'm going to start looking at more things. But the running theme is that he doesn't often know his music. They're very, very complicated.
I don't know anything else apart from Hello Again as well, because we did it as a graduating show at RAM just this year gone. I wasn't in the cast, but it was directed by Hannah Chiswick, and it was just incredible. Like, absolutely floored by it, in the sense of that it was so dark and like kind of rough and ready in a way that you're not you don't necessarily anticipate for musicals.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that I think that style, that kind of edgy rawness is in this as well.
Oh god, yeah.
It uses a whole different variety of styles. It uses pastiche, uses opera, it uses typical ballad songs,
Contemporary Broadway,
Yep.
swing, rock and roll. There's everything in there.
close harmony.
Oh god, there's everything.
Huge,
There's everything from
huge
opera to jazz to
rock,
like rock
To like funk.
yeah, it literally
70s
covers
pop.
everything. He does these little snippets of music sometimes in between the time period to
The
kind
interludes,
of give
yeah.
the audience a clue about where we're up to now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think my stuff's fairly jazzy
Yeah,
actually.
you've got a jazzy number. Mine's is quite patter song, legit.
Yeah.
Like comical, that kind of time period. Which I think it's all relevant to the time period. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it, 40s, 50s? That's
Yeah.
like height of Broadway.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a fun one to perform as well because it's so led by the acting, and then the more we delved into the score, you realise that every note he's written for a reason. It's very clever, and
There's lots of motifs that he keeps
Yeah.
repeating in each scene, and certain words that we sing, whereas another character will sing it, but it will be in a different context.
Yeah.
I just find it really clever how he does that.
It's really clever in driving, helping to drive the intentions of the characters because they're all there in the music. And it's catching on to those little motifs and driving it through and driving the message through. It's a lot of fun.
Henry he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. Nah, he's a dream. And he's so. Do you know when you know someone knows their stuff? Like you're just watching him. He's like, but it's on this, it's on this, it's on this, and I'm just sitting there like, English. I'm not the most musically inclined. No, but he knows how to have banter in the workplace as well, which is obviously this is my first ever job, my professional debut. So it's I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it would be, and because I like a joke, I like a banter, and as soon as I came in, the first thing he's bantering me, I was like, right, now this is a work environment I can get with. Like, and he can give it just as much as he can take, and he knows when to be on the ball, serious, getting in. You know, like if we start dropping or we're not performing to what we could perform, then he does enough. He knows how to remind us. But because of that, the show sounds amazing. Like the show sounds, and it's like, although it's so musically complicated, I think we're doing an alright job of it, and that's because of him. That's all down to him.
Henry!
Good old Henry.
We love him.
Henry's been, I think, at the Union for the last couple of years, so he's done virtually every show that's been here for the last 2 years. So he's used to working in these conditions and with small groups of actors and things. And he knows his stuff inside out.
Yeah,
he's shit hot on. Am I allowed to say that? He's shit hot
on it.
on
He
his
knows
background
every single
of
note,
knowledge.
every single word. Yeah, and it's
How it
great to
should
have
sound.
someone that's so particular.
Passionate.
Yeah,
So
about
passionate,
the
and
music.
he's
needs that.
reorchestrated the score as well.
Which is
So
amazing.
adding in the percussion and the
Cello.
cello, which adds a completely different vibe to some of the songs, and some of the songs are really led by the percussion, the drums, and you really get that
Yeah, you need
that
that.
oomph behind them, especially in your number in
Whilst I was rehearsing
scene
it,
4.
Yeah, just with the piano, but then you put those drums with it, and you just you can.
It gives it lifts everything and
Yeah.
gives you that power, I think, and that's driving that the attention and the passion, which I think is what the show's about.
Yeah.
Sort of bringing that the need for love and relationships.
100%.
Oh, Henry's great. He's done an incredible kind of orchestration for the music, a really stripped back version of what it probably would have been in a bigger theatre or whatever, which is really special, and it suits the venue. So we've just got a cellist and a drummer and him on the keys. It's gorgeous.
It's a really difficult score. It's really difficult. Like, it's so, like, he must find it so difficult. He must find it so challenging to.
I think anybody would. The piano score is insane.
Yeah. And especially, I don't think any of us in the cast are like outstanding musicians. So I think it's a hard job for him. Not like it makes
Yeah.
like he's got to keep us on track, and like he does a good job with that. I think.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
it is a hard
task.
intricate score. It's quite Sondheim-y actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's got a lot of Sondheim about it, but I think the score is just got some really tricky intervals and like unexpected musical corners that you don't see coming in a way that like is hard for both the singer and for the band. So
It's
yeah.
amazing how a song can change in this show, changes style mid-song.
Oh, less than that. random bridge or something else, then we're back to it's incredible. It's like it's borderline madness, borderline genius. I'm not sure which yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting to discover that.
And I think also that with Paul's direction, Paul Callan, who's directed it, the design as well. The design is so stark and so simple. It literally is a table and a couple of chairs. So it relies very much on the material,
being true
and the acting and the singing. And I think that he's somebody who's very passionate and knows exactly what he wants, and works with the actors to get the end product. And I think that's sort of evident in the piece that you get at the end. I think it's a very clever, masterful sort of production that they've created, really.
I think it's a perfect space to perform something like that. You don't need that big set, that big audience. It's just an intimate experience.
He's a bit dream, I like him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's been great. He's kind of dug deeper than what I think the script and the score gives. Vignettes of intimate encounters throughout the century. I think on the face of it, it's about sex, but like the first thing we talked about in the rehearsal, it's about the fine line between love and lust, and the reasons that people seek that connection with somebody, be it like naivety, you know, to manipulate somebody. So he's let it be as a piece, but whilst like giving the actors the tools to see something more than just the sexual encounter that happens maybe at the end of the scene, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he didn't bombard us with too much, because I don't think it actually needs it. I think the score lends itself, do you know what I mean? Like he let it take its own journey, I think, which is really nice.
Definitely.
It's really nice to have that freedom, I think,
Yeah.
Oh, he knows what he wants and he gets what he wants, to be fair. Like in the audition as well, I couldn't read him on my first round because it was sort of go in there, sing, leave. But in the second one, he was so like, he wanted to see how you took direction, but he was so like, you don't question it, you don't like, oh, so what really do you want? You're like, he lets you discover it yourself, which for me as an actor, I personally like, instead of just being like, right, go here, move this, move your right arm there, like, he tells you like the vibe and the feel for it, and he lets you try and discover it and you try and find it. And for me it worked, that's amazing, because it lets you discover the character as well and own it.
Oh, we love Paul as well. He's been fabulous.
Yeah, you said it already.
He's been really great to work with, and it's given us a lot of freedom and how to feel our characters as well. And I've just absolutely loved this whole process with everyone, the cast, the company. It's been a dream.
He's another one. He knows what he wants, and he came in every day knowing exactly what he wants from each scene, and we worked together and collaborated and got to the end product. And I think he's done a very good job in bringing that all together and bringing out his vision in a very blank space, and bringing it out with the lights and the costumes and everything.
It's very minimalist, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Paul said from day one, because the way the unit's designed, and he actually hit the nail on the head, it doesn't need anything. No. Especially this piece, like it just does. If you had a massive set and an intricate set along with this score,
it would just be too
it'd be a nightmare, because the audience, they have to concentrate on the score. They can't concentrate on a set and a revolve. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I think it's like a show about intimate encounters, that we keep saying over and over again. Sorry. So it's obviously a show about intimacy, but that it fits the theatre perfectly, because you're in such close proximity to the audience, and you're in such close proximity to the band. And even though like the union's been stripped of everything inside of it, and you've got this gorgeous bare brick wall inside, it still feels really close, despite it not having any distractions somehow.
Yeah,
the space makes it more like intense somehow.
And they've absolutely smashed the lighting design, because the lighting has just lifted it off its feet. Because you don't, when you're upstairs rehearsing, you don't see it, do you? You don't get the feel until it's like.
Yeah, it wasn't really until I saw the production shots I was like, oh bloody hell, that's what it looks like. Great.
Yeah.
The design's obviously very simple. It's very minimalistic, but I feel like that adds to the piece completely, because it then relies on us to tell the story. No theatrics, no spectacle, no like all this stuff. It relies on just us our storytelling, our narrative, and how we can get that across. And if that doesn't cross, that's down to us. It's not down to any spectacle, like not down to any set or props. It's all down to us. And I feel like it adds. And the lighting, obviously, the lighting design of the show, I think, is amazing. It just adds to it with the haze. But yeah, like I feel like it's like, what is it? What's the word? Like it's quite artsy, but it's good. I think it's nice. Like people who love theatre, like not your general theatre guy, but people who love theatre would like to come watch this and be like, yeah, tickles that itch.
Yeah, I think those are the other elements that add to it in the production is Ben's lighting and Ruben's costume. Because there's no set, you rely on those to suggest the different decades throughout the piece. And the lighting is just beautiful. It's so atmospheric.
We've got the haze.
A lot of haze.
We love the haze. The haze really sets the scene, I think.
My favourite song is Tom. Hands down, the literal bit where she's like, we fly like, I just love it. And I there's a running joke in the cast, because I have like a different favourite moment every week. Like it started out, my favourite moment was when the nurse is like, I'm not sure, and then it turned into the mistress of the senator, the big U she does in the riffs. Now it's Tom. So pretty much I have a different favourite every week. You come ask me the same question next week, it'll be a whole different ball game.
I love I think we all love Grace's song, Tom.
Yeah, scene 5.
I mean, it's such a powerhouse, ballads, blow you away, acting through song.
It's because all the girls want to sing it. That's what it is. That's why.
I love my song as well.
I have a favourite song. My favourite song is Grace's song. She sings a song called Tom, which is probably the closest any of the characters kind of get to a genuine, like kind of
truthfulness.
Yeah, like a real truthful
There's
connection
no caricature
with somebody.
there.
Yeah, it's not like a pastiche or that's the most genuine moment for me. So that's my favourite song.
Mine's is Amy's, purely because of the style of the music. Like I could listen to that all day.
Yeah,
it's very easy listening. And also it's got a banging story through it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like the story running through that is it's very empowering of women, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I like that. So,
definitely.
I've actually never had so much fun. We get on incredibly well. I think that's
Completely agree.
like that wholeheartedly. I think that's so rare to find. 10 actors. We're all completely different as well. We all have different voice types, different acting, but we've just had the best time.
It's very much the nature of this business, though, isn't it? It's like you audition, you don't know who's going to be in it, you turn up for the first day of rehearsals. Sometimes you might have met somebody before or worked with somebody, but you all are there to do a business, to do a production and to produce something together and be creative. So you have to get on, but luckily we all do get on, so there's no egos, nothing like that.
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely amazing. And also at the beginning of the rehearsal process, we were just rehearsing with our person in the scene. So we weren't all together at the beginning, were we? But we got on so well, so quickly, considering that we weren't all together at the beginning. And it's nice to be in one big dressing room as well, isn't it? And share that experience.
Yeah, it has been wicked. It was really hard at the start because we weren't together a lot. Like,
because it's so scenic. We rehearsed totally separately.
There's no ensemble actually in the show apart from the last number. So like we hadn't worked together until the last week. We were all in the room together, and I think we actually bonded really quickly, I think, as a cast, which I think is really important because
I think it didn't come together till that point as well because you've been working so individually on your scene, which is obviously the point. You can't work any other way, but it wasn't till I personally saw my stuff in the context of the show that I was like, oh, I see where this fits in the sort of jigsaw of why people have sex or why people fall in love. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it was really good to come together and see it all woven into one.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
It's been amazing, to be fair. Like for a first cast as well, because I literally had no idea what I expected as well. Obviously, not coming from these drama schools, I came from university, so to be this my first professional thing, I had no clue what to expect. But yeah, as soon as I came in, we literally, even with people who have done jobs before, they were like, I've never felt so like close to a cast, and it's like I feel like we all get along. Like we all get along very, very well. And like Regan, he's just bloody hilarious. Amy, the stuff she comes out with, I live for. Ellen and David, oh my god, there's no better people to look up to than them and their careers they've had. It's just, and Keith, what a man Keith is. But like literally, it's just unbelievable to be around them as well and pick up the things that they've done because they're all quite very experienced.
This is my professional debut. I've never worked.
This is my professional musical critic.
This was my first ever experience with the Union, ever. As soon as I came here, I saw Show Tunes show before, and that was amazing. Cause a few of my friends were in that. But Union, like the first ever time I came here was when I rocked up for the audition, and then I discovered all the things about it. Then I came to that West End one the other night with Pierce and all that. And yeah, now it's a quite little place that I would plan on coming back to a lot, and they do the best bagels in that cafe. Honestly, it's a running joke. I had 5 in one day once. It's a joke.
I've seen elegies here, and I've seen brass. Because we were doing brass at Mount View at the same time, so we came along together as a cast to come see this, which is really nice to see the same production running at the same time in a different venue. So yeah, that's only the 2 things I've seen here.
I saw a cabaret a couple of years ago, but that's it. So please don't bother, and I'm sorry, Sasha.
I was in Once Upon a Mattress in 2013. I'll jump back a lot even further. 2013 at the old Union, I was in Once Upon a Mattress. Yeah, it's very different. I remember when we were doing it over the road, it was winter, so it was freezing cold. Oh, yeah. This time we've had heat beyond. I mean, there's no air conditioning at one point, so we were all dripping wet with sweat throughout it. But
wearing overcoats on stage.
Yeah.
Love it.
But it's great. It's a great space, and they sort of put on great productions here. So I think long may they continue to do so. Yeah.
Isn't it? It's a whole different experience performing in the West End. A big, massive audience. Big set, big costumes. It's so nice to just strip it down and think this is why we're doing it, and having those small audiences. It's a completely different experience.
It's a really intense and personal relationship with the audiences. I think being so close and with the small audience size, it's a lot of fun performing to a small.
And we've had such giving audience. Like, the audience has really reacted well to it, and it's been so fun, and laughing at all the funny bits and really giving us that energy.
You can literally see their faces. A lot of my stuff is out front, so it's impossible for me to not see their reactions.
Yeah, the whole of scene 4 is a cinema scene. So it's me and Grace sat beside each other, and we're literally looking out front, pretending that this is a cinema screen, and all I can see is my grandmother's glasses staring directly into my soul. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like, I can see the whole audience. And scene 4 is like a comical scene. So like when they start laughing, it's like the lip starts to tremble. Like,
and it's funny because I'm not sure the audience knows what to expect, because it jumps about so much. They're kind of a little bit, it takes them time to settle into the next scene. So for instance in your one, you can hear the sort of anticipation to laugh, and then they kick in, they're like, oh, this is funny,
you're
let's
meant to laugh
now.
Yeah. Because it goes from being quite dark, like the river scene with the soldier and Ellen, and like Alice and the soldier, like that. Those are quite dark scenes.
Yeah,
and like
definitely.
Emotional journeys. Then it gets to scene 4, where it's just slapstick comedy, like sex, like blowjob in cinema. So it's like they absolutely, they're like, can we laugh? Is it time to laugh?
Is it time to laugh? Can we break the tension yet?
So it just takes one person, and then it just. Then you also get the most random laughs in the world. Like,
oh, always.
What scene was it the other day where someone just like Phillip scene in Titanic? Like, they just laughed. They laughed at that scene. It catches me off guard because that's a traumatizing scene. The boat is sinking. Like, do you know what I mean? And like,
yeah, but it's bonkers, isn't it?
Oh,
that's why. Yeah.
From my point of view, it seems like they get it. Like the parts are meant to laugh, they laugh, and it just looks like they're listening. Like you can hear a pin drop when you go there. Normally, like there's coughing, there's crisp rattling, there's all this. Like when you go out there, I know that feeling of when you know an audience is listening to the story. I've never had that, and I was just like, I like this. But they've been pretty full of, thank God, for most nights. Yes, there we had like 3/4, but they're really like they're warming to it. Like I didn't think they would warm to it as well, or like it might be like a bit, because it's so minimalistic, like a bit harder to get. But it seems like they get it completely, and they come out and some people have their own interpretations, but they all get their jump into the 20th century, the different time periods. I feel like they've got it well from what I've heard and the people talking.
What would you like to take away with them?
I don't hope they take anything away. I'll rephrase that. Jesus Lord. I hope they. I don't want to dictate what they take away from it. Do you know what I mean? Because it explores so much.
Yeah.
That you could come away with umpteen different interpretations of it, and I think that's exactly what the piece is supposed to do. I don't think it's supposed to dictate that this kind of encounter with another person is wrong, this kind is fulfilling, this kind is unhealthy. I think it shows you the spectrum and it allows you to recognise yourself in it. So yeah.
Me and Amy discussed quite a lot like the relationships between people now and people on the show and all the things. And I think the audience take away from this that relationships, even nowadays, haven't really changed. Like human connection has not changed. The desire for love, the desire for lust, the desire for sex, the desire for all that stuff has never changed and probably will never change because it's quite an animalistic instinct. So like even like from that first scene from the whore to the end scene with the senator and the whore, like he still ended up with a whore. It's like it's such a massive time scale.
Yeah.
The desire for the same thing is the same. Like the human connection will never change.
Yeah, and despite it being this daisy chain of things, I think the audience will almost definitely recognise in one of the vignettes a time in their life where maybe they've had a similar exchange or
it's quite nice,
I don't know, a similar experience.
And it covers a massive generation, doesn't it? Like doesn't just cover like a certain generation. It covers our generation, the older generation. Like, 'cause even us, we probably all had that at some point, and then my granny's definitely had that at some point. Do you know what I mean? Like they've all had it at some point.
Yeah.
I think
The essence of love and what that
In all its
means
different
to you,
forms.
Yeah, I think we as humans we're driven by that want of relationship and that want of passion and to feel close to people. And I think it makes a statement about sex and sexual relationships that maybe it hasn't changed over the last 100 years or so. That we're all
looking for one thing, which is love, really, ultimately.
Yeah.
completely.
The show is on until the 21st of September. So everyone needs to come down now, basically get in. We have 2 matinees, so no excuse with evening jobs or anything. Yeah, but no, it's the 21st of September.